Sometimes, exploring means returning to a place you've been, perhaps many times before, and attempting to see it with a new perspective, fresh eyes. I'm author and researcher Mike Luoma. Limited by pandemic travel restrictions and Vermont's hunting season, I set out to take a fresh look at my hometown of Burlington, Vermont's Ethan Allen Park. The Ethan Allen Tower was closed. The tower was built in the early 1900s as a memorial to Ethan Allen after they dynamited away a bit of what was then called Indian rock to level it out some. Though, given the name, this was probably once a sacred Native American space in the distant past, I didn't make any discoveries on this trip. I'll show you a couple of crevices, and we'll check out some curious stones and boulders and some step-like rocks on the ridge, which are interesting. But mostly this is a walk in the park on a November afternoon in Vermont. This very public place has been well trampled over, and still suffers screaming kids and old guys urinating on trees, both of which I encountered on my socially distanced hike. I'm not a geologist, but I'm pretty sure this is an anticline, though it's covered by moss, and not quite as, well, expressive as the oven at Raven Ridge. You can see the curve of the rock. Although, it does appear that the top of the fold was scoured away by the glacier, and we see that other places here in this park on this ridge as well. Are these anything? Stone steps? Seating? I'm not sure, and as I've said, this is a very public place. I've seen these many times before. My assumption is there is no mystery to these stones, but they still look darn cool. It might be worth doing a little more research to see what these are all about, if anyone knows. There's an interesting stone feature down the ridge and across the path paved below. When they built this park in the early 20th century, they'd do things like dynamite ledges and pave broad paths. I don't know if this cavern-like space is a result of dynamite or natural geology. It's too small a space to be useful. Unfortunately, I can't show you my leaving the space because I walked out to a guy taking a leak on the stone in front of me. Public parks. I headed up onto the ridge above this and found a second crevice, a bit more off the beaten path, on the ridge itself. Of course, I had to take a little walk through. This stone might be my favorite find of the day. Reminded me of a crashed Borg cube, but that may be because I just watched Star Trek Picard. This impressive boulder lies below the ridge and below a huge boulder field that leads back up to that first crevice we saw. It has an odd little nub on the top. I fixed the sound here. There was a screaming kid making a ton of noise, for no reason, unrestrained by his parents, just yelling at the top of his lungs. I've spared you that. This only scratches the surface of the experience here at Ethan Allen Park, really. There are more interesting boulders in the boulder field and on the boulder path along the ridge. There's the pinnacle atop the North Ridge in the park, with beautiful expansive views, especially during the summer. Here's a peek at a couple of years ago. And of course, there's the tower and the cliffs. Experiencing Ethan Allen Park in Burlington, Vermont. I'm Mike Luoma. If you'd like to see more pictures, I've posted some on Facebook. You can find me there at facebook.com/Mike Luoma, MikeLuoma. Find me online at mikeluoma.com or glowinthedarkradio.com. Thank you for coming along for this walk in the park.